Whew. Ah, bright lights. Bright lights! It burns! But no, I'm just kidding. How is all the buddies today? All the buddies. I'm making sure. There's things happening. Hello, Teddy, and hello, Silly Philly Mad Max, Queen Cheese. Liver Skull Vizio? No worries, no worries. Did I just hit new game? I was like, wait, long time no see? Long time no see indeed. Welcome, welcome. I got my smoothie, so leave before I get spoilers. No worries, Travis. Take it easy, take it easy. We got a blueberry banana smoothie today. So I'm feeling pretty good. You beat that level? Yeah. Yeah. Teddy, it's... That was a trip. Lack of a better term, that was a trip. Ah. My little doggo today just did nothing but like cuddle with me when I got... It was bad. So last we left off, Osawa got nuked. Last we left off, Osawa got nuked. That's pretty much the gist. We still have to check out Minorikawa, and we finished Achi and Tom and Maria's stuff. What? That's what tacos do? True. True. Oh, he dead? Yeah, no, he got nuked. He got nuked hard. But we know how to circumvent it. Just to bring you guys up to speed, and I'm not going to give a full explanation of the story if you want. I did an explanation last stream at a specific time that's in the description. Last time what happened, we got to find out that Tama was Marie. We went to the mall in order to find Yanagashita, who was being chased by debt collectors. We go shopping. We beat the crap out of some debt collectors while Toyama is running away. We then escape from the mall, only be cornered by the assassin who wants to kill Maria. Should probably start Minorikawa. Yeah, we're probably going to in a bit. For Achi's story, Achi and Totomi also go into the mall after they were told by Kanon to go to the mall and meet her there by 3 o'clock. So that is what they are doing. Hitomi remembers talking to Maria, and I'm about to say Marie, but it's Maria. And they're just, reflecting. Achi, though, gets confused because since Hitomi and Maria are twins and are both in the same mall, they look the same, and he keeps finding both of them, and he gets really confused because he doesn't know who Maria is yet. Hey, Caitlin, how's it going? He keeps searching there for Hitomi and ends up finding her, being hounded by debt collectors because they think that she's Maria, and they elude the assassin long enough in order to attempt to escape and then meet up with Kanon. Start with the two best characters? True. So, I do want to start off with Minorikawa. I really wanted to. The problem is, we're currently on, like, an interesting path with just two very bad ends. So, we'll just go with Minorikawa. I know what one we have to choose, but it's time for Minorikawa, one of my favorite characters, so. No! Minorikawa's cry of despair echoed throughout the cafe. His laptop monitor stared back at him, black and empty. Don't you die on me, buddy! He jabbed his finger sharply at the screen. Interesting. I never knew that's how, Japanese keyboards looked. Interesting. But the computer gave no response, looking well and truly dead. What the hell? Minorikawa pounded his fist on the table. This would be a worst-case scenario even if he weren't desperately pressed for time. Guess I'll just have to write by hand then. He rummaged around inside his bag and pulled out a notebook. I can still do this, he shouted, doing his best to psych himself up for the task ahead. I will still do this. Excuse me, sir. The waitress appeared timidly beside him. What? Minorikawa snapped, his pen still flying across the paper. Sir, if you could please quiet down. My damn computer just broke. I'm allowed to scream or two. Minorikawa was in no state of mind to be quiet. If it weren't for the deadline he was racing to meet, he'd probably have gone on screaming until he passed out. Your computer is broken, you say? The waitress peered at the monitor.
Yeah, look, it just suddenly stopped displaying anything.
Could it be that, the battery is just dead? Hold on, I thought Minorikawa went through this. Minorikawa's not the smartest guy, is he? I get the feeling he's not the smartest sharpest tool in the tool shed. But then when he's in journalist mode, he is sharp as a knife. Nope. Minorikawa sat bolt upright.
That's it!
Sounds about right. The waitress flinched as Minorikawa's finger jabbed toward her face.
I hadn't considered that possibility. Hey, let me plug in somewhere.
There's an outlet right there, sir. She pointed at an outlet by Minorikawa's feet, making no attempt to hide her exasperation. Minorikawa plugged in the power cable and the monitor sprang to life as normal. Well, alright then. I'm sorry, Queen Cheese, I'm sorry. So, now that's sorted, would you please be quiet, sir?
Don't talk to me, you're interfering with my writing.
Minorikawa's fingers had already begun dancing across his keyboard. At the side, the waitress disappeared back into the kitchen.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
His fingers picked up speed as he went about touch typing. That's not the X button. The act of typing on a keyboard without looking at the keys, the aspiration of computer novices everywhere. The typical method involves placing the index fingers on the F and J keys with the middle ring pinky fingers resting on the ASD, D, or KL, and semicolon keys to either side, for which all other keys are easily reached. With practice, a touch typist can instinctively hit the correct key every time without looking. So, some people ask me how I type so fast. We did a typing test there and I almost got to 100 words, which I could in the past get to 100 words per minute. But lately, yeah, she was looking kind of dumb. With a shape of an L on her forehead, with her finger and her thumb in a shape of an L on her forehead. I can't remember the song, I'm sorry. I am not a touch typist. Fun fact. So, the way they teach you how, like in school, for those who don't know, is they would have you do this. They put ASDF, JKL, and then semicolon, and then you can type. Me, I've been typing for so long that most of the time what will end up happening, here I'll just kind of, you guys will see the mouse for a little bit, but I can just be like, I'm going to just type something, so be like the way I have my fingers on ZXCV and sometimes UIOP, and then I'll just move it up and down. So it kind of like goes up and down is how I usually do. So we'll do... So like I don't really tend to have, like I just wrote just a random thing in Google search and such and whatnot. But yeah, like that, I don't tend to use the whole ASDF. Like, I could use my pointer fingers and also do the same thing. But, I mean, some people just use the default, so.
The pros and cons of surveillance cameras. Proprietor of outdated electronics shop oversees high-tech camera system. Bedlam and bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Bankrupted organizer remains undiscouraged.
Now Minorikawa's spirits were riding high. His riding rolled along at a brisk pace. Sir? It was the waitress again, her voice taking Minorikawa right out of his soaring mood. Sir!
Now what? Has the President of the United States agreed to give me a one-on-one interview?
Do you really wanna... Well, okay, hold on. I think this came out when Obama was president. So if that's the case, yo, take an interview with Obama. Gotta take that interview with Obama. Yo, Obama! If it's Trump right now, Minorikawa. I feel like Trump and Minorikawa would probably either get along really well or be at each other's throats. The waitress' eyes went wide with confusion. Huh?
Because unless it's something that important, do not speak to me right now.
But she was undeterred. Sir, please, if we could just be a little quieter. Minorikawa's fingers ceased with their rattling across the keys.
Just what sound do you have a problem with? All I've been doing is writing a copy.
Well, for the last while, actually, you've been talking while you write, sir.
Talking?
Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion. Yes, sir, you've been talking about an electronics store and some bogus weight loss drink. I assume that's what you're writing about.
You're saying I've been narrating my copy aloud while writing it?
That's right, sir. Yeah, no, you're right, Queen Cheese, because Trump will just keep saying fake news, and Minorikawa would be insulted by, like, journalist integrity. They'd be at each other's throats the entire time. Ooh. Dang. Poor Minorikawa, though. Other customers sitting nearby were openly snickering.
Well, so what? He snapped.
Everyone's staring at Minorikawa. Hey, Yoshi Plays, how's it going? He was red in the face now.
You should all be delighted that you get to hear what I'm writing before the magazine goes to print.
Well, actually, sir, one of our customers has been complaining.
Complaining? Of all the nerve, who was it? Where are they?
Minorikawa scanned the other patrons, many of whom were unsuccessfully trying to hide their laughter. Poor Minorikawa. He has no shame. It was me. It was me. Oh, it's Rumi's dad. Today's your birthday? Well, happy birthday, Yoshi Plays. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Hope you enjoyed your time and play all the games that you want to play and do all what you got to do today. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the day. There was a grumpy old fellow who'd been making a scene earlier. Bogus diet fabs, peeping security cameras. Reminds me of that sleazy tabloid forestall and general gossip I hate so much. Well, dang. Good thing we're not writing for them. Also, hi, Cassie. How are you doing?
Oh, you sure seem to know a lot about it for something you hate so much.
The man's face twisted up with scorn. Your behavior is bothering everyone in here, he said. Do you not understand that?
No, I don't.
As a reporter who writes nothing but nonsense prefers nonsense in everything he does. Minorikawa could feel his blood boiling.
What was that? Go on, say that again.
Oh, gladly. Nonsense, filth, codswallop, flim-flam. Also, I'm not here. Cassie, you are totally here. You have been seen. Bodyguard Sheeple keeps you. No problem, Yoshi.
You bastard, how dare you!
Minorikawa stormed over to the man's table. Flim-flam indeed. What? Why can't I hit the X button? What? You guys, that's a blue letter, right? Bogus or insincere content. Few things anger Minorikawa more than reporters using dishonest means to create a story. Having his own work called Flim Flam would naturally make him blow his top. That's weird. For some reason, it was detecting my computer.
Just who are you calling Flim Flam?
The other man stood up and glowed in Minorikawa's face. Okay, now it's working. Gotta go. Bye, Cassie. Take it easy. Take it easy. In the arms of an angel. The X button. Just pick it up and just throw it.
You utter lack any manners, a sense of decency for starters.
That's right, you. You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency for starters.
I have plenty of manners and decency. I also happen to have a deadline.
Bah, as if a flim-flam artist like you has a work ethic.
Stop calling me Flim Flam.
The waitress inserted herself between the two men. Gentlemen, please, stop fighting.
I demand that you remove this man at...
I demand that you remove this man at once. The older fellow barked.
He's the one you should be kicking out,
Minorikawa shot back. But now he was ready to go for this guy's throat. Please, the waitress pleaded, both of you return to your seats. She grabbed onto Minorikawa and began to forcibly drag him back to his table. Oh, it's too late for that. Giving in to his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker. Okay, just calm down. Minorikawa did his best to swallow his pride. Do we sock the man in the face? I kind of want to sock him in the face. This guy's been an asshole the entire game. We're punching a man today. Oh, it's too late for that. Giving into his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker. Grrr. The man dodged nimbly, however. Gosh. Hey,
Heh, you're not bad.
I'm 6 Dan in judo.
Well, damn!
Well, we're going up against a badass.
Ah, you should have mentioned that earlier.
Minorikawa hastily retreated to his seat. The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl. Minorikawa was like, well. The needless interruption, just when he'd finally gotten into writing mode, had all but killed Minorikawa's motivation. Hold on a second. Sorry, we're sneezing. He decided he needed to take a breather. He turned to the waitress.
One spaghetti Napolitan, please.
Spaghetti flavored with tomato ketchup. Napolitan is a corruption of Neapolitan. Though the dish itself has no connection to the Italian city of Naples, Napoli, rather, it originated as a menu item at a hotel in Yokohama shortly after World War II. There's also a spaghetti dish from Nagoya called Milanese, which likewise has no connection to the Italian city of Milan. He might not have a lot of spare time, but working on an empty stomach wouldn't do him any favors. While waiting for his order to come out, he decided to read it back over the copy he'd written so far. What? When he looked back at the monitor, the screen was black yet again. Looking down at his feet, he saw that the power cable was now unplugged. What? Who unplugged it?
Hey, what kind of cafe are you people running here?
He shouted. The waitress hurried over, looking combative. Sir, you yanked that out yourself when you stood up earlier.
What a likely story.
It's the truth, sir. Minorikawa pointed at one of the customers sitting next to him.
Is she telling the truth?
Did I really yank my power cord?
Did I really yank my power cord out myself?
And the man nodded sheepishly.
Yeah, well, then that's the outlet's fault for being someplace where it unplugs so easily,
Minorikawa squawked. I love the two old men. I love the two guys. The guy's just like, I just got pointed at. I just got pointed at. And his friend is like, there. It'll be okay. The crazy man is still there, but hopefully he will not bother us anymore. Meanwhile, waitress is just like, I hate this life so much. Sounds like... I just love the guy's head is just face down. The waitress marched away, head held high. Just make sure that
spaghetti's delicious,
Minorikawa shouted after her.
Do that and I'll consider us even. Oh, and load it with cheese. Lots of cheese.
He plugged the power cable back in, then let out a heavy sigh. In all his writing forever, he hadn't thought to save his work. Always make sure you save your work to avoid losing data. Honestly, why is it that your computer only seems to freeze when you've forgotten to save your stuff? I had to do this a whole lot yesterday. So I've been editing the highlights, right? I've been editing highlights number 9. And I spent 5 hours yesterday putting it all together. It's not done. It's still not done. Because I'm also putting in like subtitles for you guys for the multiplayer stuff. And it almost crashed a few times. And I was like, I need to keep saving, Because let me tell you, doing all the subtitles is a bitch. But I think you guys will enjoy it. So save your stuff. He was probably going to have to rewrite most of what he'd done. Man, true. Excuse me. Minorikawa looked up to see a young woman standing there. I'm so sorry, she said, about my father. Oh, it's Rumi. She gave a tiny bow. Your father?
Oh, the rude old man.
He's just a little worked up right now. Please, don't pay him any mind.
So what, you waiting on your boyfriend?
Huh? The woman was taken aback.
I happened to hear you two arguing earlier. It would have been about 2 hours ago.
Oh, I see. An awkward, embarrassed smile came to the woman's face. I thought he was going to ask my father for permission to marry me, so we've been waiting for him, but...
But he hasn't shown up.
No, he must be really busy. She cast her eyes down sadly. Minorikawa took a better look at her. She was gorgeous. A woman with her looks wasn't something he saw every day, that was for sure.
Say, would you mind talking with me for a bit?
He asked. Me?
Yeah, I kind of need to turn my mood around here.
To Achi. I gotcha. Well, okay. At least until my father gets back. The woman cast an anxious look towards the restrooms.
What's your name?
Rumi. She sat down across from him.
Wait a second, aren't you...
Minorikawa appeared at Rumi's face.
One of those twins that was chosen as Miss Midoriyama?
Rumi shook her head. Nope, not me. Oh, Miss Midoriyama. That's Maria and Hitomi. That's who they are. So she looks similar to them.
No? Darn, didn't think I'd be that lucky.
He took a sip of his now cold coffee. I do know the girls you're talking about, though, Rumi said. That's a face. This is a scene. Did he just spit coffee all over Ruby? Minorikawa needs to learn some manners. Can we be real here? Minorikawa spat out his coffee in surprise. Ruby squeaked in alarm as the spray splattered her face. But Minorikawa leaned in unconcerned.
You mean it? You really know them?
Yes, Ruby replied. You're talking about the Osawa twins, right? Yeah, don't spit on a hot girl. Oh, she's into that. She got out a handkerchief and wiped the coffee from her face as she spoke.
Osawa, huh?
Minorikawa glanced down at the project proposal on the table. Sexy squared, twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Midoriyama Academy, Maria and Hitomi Osawa.
Yes, that's it, the Osawa twins.
I actually won Miss Midoriyama myself a few years ago. This year I served as one of the judges. Minorikawa adopted a self-satisfied pose.
Guess I really was born under the right sign to be a freelancer. The leads just come to me.
Sure? Rumi muttered.
Okay, let's talk basics then. Tell me what you know about these girls.
Well, I don't really know them personally. Rumi continued to dab at the coffee on her face. But now that you ask, I do remember hearing that they'd entered the contest separately.
Wait, separately?
Now Minorikawa was a bit confused. Yes, that's right. I'd assumed they'd enter as a pair, but apparently not.
I wonder why. I mean, they're twins. Don't they look alike? Wear the same clothes? Do everything together? And say the same things at the same time and stuff?
Don't think that's how twins work. Last I checked. Pretty sure, just saying, pretty sure that twins don't actually do that. Ruby chuckled and shook her head. No, not at all. Besides, those two aren't identical. They're fraternal twins. Twins who were born at the same time, from two eggs that were fertilized separately. Fraternal twins do not share the same genetic information. They can differ in such characteristics as sex and blood type, though there are cases of fraternal twins resembling one another almost as close as identical twins. Maria and Hitomi Osawa happen to look very closely alike, but they do not have the same blood type. Queen Cheese, you know what I'm thinking, right? You know exactly what I'm thinking. I know if anyone here, because I know Caitlin loves La Casita, except aka Ets, which Caitlin, you should watch. If you haven't watched the previous stream, you should, because a lot of stuff happened with Ets. But I know Queen Cheese knows what that's hinting to. One of those two have Bombay blood. Although at a glance they do look very similar. Still, how should I put this? They both give off a very different impression.
Oh? Now that sounds interesting.
Hey, Supernova, how's it going?
Mind explaining what you mean?
Minorikawa opened his memo pad. I talked to them briefly after the award ceremony. The older sister struck me as really energetic, but the younger one was more quiet and reserved. Minorikawa's investigative senses were tingling.
I would figure a shy girl would want to enter a campus beauty contest.
I suppose not, no.
Yeah, I don't suppose you got anything juicier?
Minorikawa asked. Rumi frowned. Would you like to just go ask them yourself? She said. They don't live very far from here.
Whoa, hold the phone?
Minorikawa could hardly believe what had just fallen into his lap. Wait, he's going to his Osawa residence! The advance info in the project proposal had mentioned the girls were students at Midoriyama, but hadn't given actual address. If he could talk to them directly, now that would pay paid dirt.
You know where they live?
Well, not exactly. I just heard that they lived in Shoto.
Aha, Shoto!
That wasn't far away. A car or motorcycle could get them in about 10 minutes. It'd be quicker than going to Midoriyama Academy, and he'd be able to meet with the girls themselves. Minorikawa flashed a quick look toward the restroom. It looked like Ruby's father had just gotten back. Sorry, she said. I should be going.
No problem, and thank you.
Ruby gave him a quick nod and then hurried back to her seat. Cool. Minorikawa grabbed the directory from the public phone and flipped through the pages. To his surprise, there were only 5 listings for the name Osawa with addresses in Shoto. There was neither a Maria nor a Hitomi, but he hadn't expected there to be. He needed to find their parents. Wasting no time, he called up the first Osawa on the list.
Bingo!
Minorikawa couldn't help but pump his fist in excitement. He got in the right place on the first try. Yep, that's correct, Caitlin. That's correct. Wait a second! Isn't there... Wait, did they... Did they tapped the phone? So Minorikawa is the one who tapped the phone. Uh-oh. He got in the right place at his first try.
Way to go, me!
He committed the house number listed in the phone book to memory. Just then the waitress reappeared with a disgruntled expression and Minorikawa's order of spaghetti Neapolitan. Here you are, sir. Nice, Cheese Bean. Also, how's it going? That possibly, Queen Cheese, possibly. No, technically they have, because remember, there's last stream, Osama got a call and they tapped the line because they didn't know if it was somebody who was trying to assault Osawa. And it was Minorikawa. Oh god, Minorikawa is gonna be chased by detectives now. That's also a lot of cheese, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Nice cheese. The possum was piled high with an impressive amount of grated cheese. It looked almost like a miniature mountain of snow. You did say lots of cheese, sir, the waitress told him. She set down a canister of cheese and a bottle of Tabasco. A sauce made by the US-based McIlhenny Company, consisting of hot peppers, green vinegar, and rock salt. Known for its distinctive spiciness, they can make spaghetti and pizza quite tasty with the addition of just a few drops. Tabasco also goes pretty well with ramen and curry. Recommended for times when flavor is lacking a little punch. However, even one drop may be too much for those who can't handle spicy things. It has been claimed that Tabasco was first imported to Japan by a certain well-known former pro wrestler, but the story is untrue. That's way too much? Not enough, in my opinion.
Oh, this looks good,
Minorikawa exclaimed. He twirled some spaghetti up with his fork and shoved it into his mouth. The slightly sour sweetness of the ketchup blended perfectly with the mellow flavor of the cheese.
Oh, this is tasty!
There was nothing like satisfying grub to lift the spirits. He turned back to his laptop, still wolfing down the spaghetti.
Alright, we're back in action! Let's do this!
And again, he unthinkingly blurted his words aloud as he slipped back into writing mode.
I've got this! I've got this!
With ketchup smeared around in his mouth, he set his fingers tapping away at the keys. The waitress let out another groan in dismay. Huh?
You say something?
Minorikawa glanced in her direction, but the waitress faked a smile. That's the fakest smile of all time. No, sir, I don't think so.
Yeah, well then go away. You're distracting me.
The moment he looked away, she clenched her fist in indignation. She really wants to beat the crap out of Minorikawa. Poor Minorikawa. Supernova got eye. Congratulations. Hmm? Nothing, sir. Good luck with your work, sir.
I don't need luck. I've got this.
I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna punch you. I have no idea, Queen Cheese. Eyes jumping back and forth between pasta and computer, Minorikawa got to work on his copy once more. Before long, he was oblivious to every sound in the cafe around him. That girl really wants to punch him. This is why Minorikawa can't get a date. When he finally stepped out of writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was 2:20. Almost time for him to head to his next interview. Better get a move on. 2:20. Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minorikawa was hurrying out of the cafe.
Well, what a pleasant surprise, Minorikawa called out. Nice timing, my man.
Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation. Do you need a ride, sir?
You know it,
Minorikawa replied.
First head to Shoto. After that, I'll need to get to Sakura Gaoka. As he cast his gaze out on the sights of the city, Minorikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the Miss Midoriyama girls. Then he'd meet with the head of that theater troupe. In order to leave himself enough time to write his copy, that meant... I'd like to get this all wrapped up in 20 minutes, he said. Can you make that happen?
Kimizuka flashed a grin. That will incur a special fare, sir.
Ooh, special,
Minorikawa said as he got settled in his seat.
I love that word.
Kimizuka stepped on the gas. Kimizuka! A crazy driver! Shibuya was a town of contrasts. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble intersection and center guy perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Mokamura Dori, the town's whole atmosphere changed. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed one of Tokyo's, most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk. Nice.
Right here's fine.
Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over.
Wait here for me. I'll be right back.
Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of the nearby homes.
Ah, here we go.
He spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa.
Kenji Osawa, huh?
Which is the correct name. The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. Question. Oh, this is after... Uh-oh. We're gonna get a bad end. Osawa's passed out. And the bomb exploded. Oh, that's bad. Even the little chime it was made when pressed sounded elegant. Minorikawa waited, but there was no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with Shinizuke Orai of the Wandering Angels was supposed to have started already. Episode 3, with help from Shinichi Mondo was able to get out of his apartment. Then, when all the players had finally assembled, the troupe proceeded with one last rehearsal before showtime. But again, tragedy struck. Mondo came down with food poisoning after eating his lunch. He was rushed to the hospital in ambulance, and the Angels were once again lacking an actor for the key role of Shido. Orai was on the verge of panic. Finally, however, he came up with a solution. Novice actor Takuya Amo, age 31, would take on the part. Oh yeah, that's supposed to be an episodic thing. That's a side story that's happening as this is going on. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins first if it was possible. He had to make a choice. He decided to wait a little bit longer. He decided to give up and head to his next interview. Let's wait a little bit longer. He decided to wait a little bit longer. Just 5 more minutes. The front door opened. A grim-looking man emerged, leading another man in handcuffs. Oh yeah, never mind. He got cuffed. Minorikawa was standing in their way. Pardon us. Pardon us, the serious-looking fellow said. He gave Minorikawa a curt bow as he passed by. Minorikawa smelled the distinct odor of a scoop. Hey, does that guy live here? He asked. The man ignored him and kept moving, but Minorikawa followed. He couldn't let this opportunity pass him by. Hey, wait up. Is that Mr. Osawa? With a grimace, the man pushed Minorikawa aside and hurried his handcuffed prisoner along. For a moment, Minorikawa wondered if he should just keep after them, but he decided against it. Whatever was going on here, he doubted he'd be able to get an interview with the twin girls right now. This had all been an unfortunate waste of time. He had no real choice but to head along to his next interview. A few minutes later, the rear tires skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakura Goka had taken almost no time at all. Here we are, sir, Kimiyazuka announced. Wow, that was fast. Still, Minorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He'd hoped he'd still be able to get the interview with Orai. Now we're at keep out. Interesting. Well, we should probably get him out of those handcuffs. Let's get him out of those handcuffs, don't you think? I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. Should we tell him it's him or Hitomi? Actually, if we tell him it's Hitomi, it's the bad end because you'll realize that she has the virus. But she does have the virus for some reason. It's you. Osawa remains silent. Mr. Osawa, is everything all right? The line went dead. Kano, Staley chided. I would have put it more like this. They're after Hitomi because she has the antiviral. Yeah, I know that, but if they're after the antiviral, that makes the person who created it a potential target as well, right? Ah, indeed. Looks like you do have some brains after all. Stanley flashed Kano a thin smile. Trying to remember voices I've done. Now it was clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi was carrying the antiviral, how are the criminals planning on getting it from her? Kano thought for a moment. Well, taking her by force at the Scramble post too high a risk, he said. There are nearly 100 detectives there. They must have guessed there would be. That's why they devised the attaché case relay. They wanted to abduct Hitomi somewhere away from the Dragnet's notice. This was the plan that all of the signs seemed to suggest. But still, he added, I wonder how they managed to lead her away from police protection. A look of revelation crossed Stanley's face. All they need to do is convince her to go on her own accord. But how? Kano asked, and then it came to him. He thought back to Hitomi's initial contact with Tarika Al-Karawan. Just before he'd taken the attaché case from her, the two had a brief conversation. It was possible Al-Karawan had given Hitomi some form of instructions then. Which is technically true. Guess we're back to tracking down Al-Karawan again, huh? Kano could tell from the look in Stanley's eyes that he was on the verge of saying something. Probably some remark about how Totano had allowed Alcarawan to run free. Hey, Happy, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Right now, Kano wasn't going to argue the point. After this case was resolved, he discovered what Totano's real motives were. And once he did, Stanley would eat his words. In the meantime, we can't just wander around looking without any leads, he said. Until we get more intel, let's see what we can do with the security cameras back at the precinct. I'm guessing that's Kano talking. Yo, look how fancy this place is! Numerous monitors shone down on the pair as they entered the Shibuya precinct surveillance room. Each showed an array of faces of individuals somewhere in Shibuya. Kano asked one of the operators to pull up Alcarawan's data on screen. By selecting each of the faces of the monitors in turn, they could run comparisons to determine if anyone among them was Alcarawan. One by one, the operator made his way through the faces. Assuming their target was still in Shibuya, there was a high likelihood they'd find him. But the minutes ticked past and there was still no sign of him. Kano's tone grew more and more impatient as he directed the operator's search. Just calm down, Stanley said. He set a hand on Kano's shoulder. You keep wasting your energy when you don't need to. That's just how I do things, Kano replied. I'm energetic because I care. He pointed out another face to the operator. Well, you're setting yourself up for a short life. With a sigh, Stanley sank into a nearby chair. My brother was like you. The American spoke so quietly that his words were barely audible. He has a brother? Brother from another mother? 10 minutes later, a man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Alcarawan. Yes, Kano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Kano radioed an Alcarawan's location to Kuze. All units, intercept the suspect on the double, Kuze ordered. Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors. They saw Alcarawan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama reporting. I've got my eyes on the mutt. Mutt, perpetrator, hook, to put someone in cuffs, dipper, pickpocket, wants, outstanding warrants, hang paper, to write multiple citations, and other such traditional police jargon. Police jargon. It's interesting. Jargon's a fun word, by the way. If you want to make up your own language or make your own, like, when people say swag or YOLO and such, that's like teenage jargon. Listen, jargon's also just a really fun word to say. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. Making the arrest, he said. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. I'm in so much shock that that my brain can't process what I'm looking at right now. I'm in so much shock. I'm literally in so much shock to see this image. Never would have thought about this happening. Tom an assassin? Yeah, that's correct. At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a cat mascot suit. Oh no, Kano muttered. That getup's going to make Sasayama stand out like a sore thumb. Shoot, the mutt spotted me. I'm going in pursuit. Sasayama slipped out of the camera's view. Whoa, what gives? Let go of me.
Yeah, Mr. Yanagishita, right? Look, I'm sorry, but I really do need to return that costume.
The voices came in over the wireless and sounded like Sasayama was caught up in an argument with someone. Sasayama! Kano shouted as he eyed the monitor. Kano, I need some help here! Requesting emergency backup! The line went dead before Sasayama could finish. Kano didn't have the faintest idea what was going on, but obviously his partner needed him. He rushed out of the precinct. Well, when he arrived on the scene, he saw Sasayama still in the catsuit, caught up in the scuffle with a man he'd never seen before. There was no sign of Alcarawan. Sasayama, what's going on? That's an excellent question, Sasayama replied. This guy just came out of me and nowhere. He sounded pretty riled up. Sir, I need you to return this costume. My boss was very insistent on that point. The man was panting with exertion, shouting in Sasayama's face. Was he the owner of the suit? What's the deal with that thing, Sasayama? Kano asked. I bought it at a variety store in Center Guy. I figured it would be a perfect disguise. Welcome back, Cassie. I didn't steal anything. Sir, I'm telling you, I need to give it back. And I'm telling you that I've got no idea what you're talking about. Sasayama stamped his foot. I realize that you're not Mr. Yanagashita. That isn't the issue. I just need you to return that costume. Alright, sure, I'll give it to you. I just need a little longer, so let go of me. I can't do that, sir. I need you to get out of that suit right now. Yeah, I get that, buddy, but no can do. As like I told you before, the zipper on this thing is snagged. Kano watched as the argument descended further and further into absurdity. Meanwhile, Akarawan was getting away. This was ridiculous. He turned to go in pursuit of the suspect. Kano, wait! Sasayama called out. Come on. Help me out, man. Huh? Help me get this thing off. Now really isn't the time for this, Kano replied. I'm going after the suspect. Oh, I get it. You're gonna ditch me here so you can take all the credit for yourself. Whoa, what? I was this close to nabbing the guy. That arrest is mine to make, and you know it. It wasn't as though Kano couldn't empathize. If Sasayama hadn't been blindsided by this random stranger, he probably would have caught Alcarawan just fine. Alright then, Kano said. He reached for the zipper at the back of the catsuit. But as Sasayama had said, the metal fittings were snagged and refused to budge. Hurry up! I'm trying. There wasn't time to do this slowly and carefully. Kano yanked down on the zipper hard. Stop! The stranger shrieked in alarm. Don't be so rough like that! But if I don't, I'll never... You mustn't! If you aren't careful, you cause a malfunction! Malfunction? What the hell was this guy talking about? Kano got an even firmer grip on the zipper and pulled again. Meow? He paused in surprise as Sasayama mewed. Did Sasayama just meow like a cat? Again, Sasayama let out a little cry. Except it didn't sound like Sasayama's voice at all. Guys, Sasayama said, there's something making a rumbling noise inside this thing. He sounded pretty alarmed. Uh-oh, said the other man. It has started. What started? His face went pale. What are you talking about, Sasayama demanded? What started? The man hesitated, then seemed to come to a decision. Well, you see, this is no ordinary cat costume. Meaning what exactly? Our shop rented this unit out by mistake. Oh, I had no idea it was anything so horrifying. Not until the boss filled me in on a little while ago. What's horrifying? You're not answering the question. The man's gaze grew hollow and distant. Cats, said. The movie? I've heard the movie's terrible. Listen, if you got stuck in a cat outfit and had to watch that movie over and over again for the rest of your life, which is probably happening in Sasayama right now, yeah, I'd be freaking out too. GG though. Actually, I want to make sure that that worked real quick. Because for some reason it has not been working lately. Cool. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Sasayama spoke up nervously. Well, yeah, it's a cat. I know that already. No, you're not listening. This is a cat's. This is a cat's. Like I said, I already know it's a cat. Anyone can see that this is just looking at it. No, not a cat. Cats. Costume as transmission system, developed by Far East Costume Rental's high-tech department. This was an official corporate notice stating, this is just a prototype and potentially dangerous, so do not lend it out under any circumstances, but it was accidentally rented by mistake. I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. meow for days. The meowing started back up again. With each new meow, the sound got faster. Soon it sounded less like a cat, more like some mechanism that was worrying about. There was a sudden, fierce, blinding flash. Space itself began to wrap in a roughly 3-meter radius around Sasayama in his costume. A moment later, Kano and the others had vanished. What just happened? What just happened? Cats. Kano, Sasayama, and the rental guy were sent to another dimension due to a malfunction in the cats. Detective Sasayama should probably never have put their catsuit on. He mentioned buying it at a variety shop on Center Guy. That's your lead here. Cat sheep will happen. Okay, well that's pretty simple. Because that just means we have to change this option. Oh right, what should I do? I feel really good about asking him to go out of his way for me. I maybe I should deal with it myself. So we do this. I feel a little guilty about having him go out of his way for me more than he already has. Maybe we should deal with it myself. He looks a bit disappointed when I tell him that. I buy the necklace for 30,000 yen. Yeah. And leave the knickknack shop, hauling the costume with me. Oh, that's adorable. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision. I can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees is out front cleaning out a trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect. Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else. Excuse me. So I've got this old catsuit here. I figure it can't hurt to ask. Yeah, I know. The shop boy takes the costume for me. Taku Okado, 22-year-old getting by on part-time employment. Recently, after a number of employees quit in rapid succession, the owner hurriedly took on several new hires. But for some reason, instead of everyone chipping in on the cleaning, Okado always winds up stuck doing it. You're here to throw this thing out. I got it. He sounded wholly unsurprised. He accepts it so blithely that I actually feel bad. It's been like this all morning, he says. I don't even care anymore. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess. It's been like what all morning? I'm out here queening and people keep dumping trash on me. First it was this couple that up and threw a garbage bag at me. Ashiendo and Hitomi Osawa, the two have just run into a girl called Cannon. After that, some homeless looking guy came by and took all of his clothes off and left. Detective Yuji Sasayama from the Shibuya precinct. At the moment, Sasayama is searching for a costume for his next disguise. What up, Fiona? Eating food. I like how it's just like... some homeless looking guy came by, took off all of his clothes, and just started walking around naked. Sunflower seeds! Yo! Guess what I have? Like just now, some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles. I must have been cheery. She was probably drinking the burning hammer while she walked along. So when he came by just now with this thing, I knew right away. Yep, this again. I'm sorry. It's alright, 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference? He flashes a bright smile, but it's clearly insincere. Then he looks at me more closely. Huh. Aren't you the girlfriend of that dude who threw the bag of garbage at me? What? Nope, not me. Huh, guess I'm misremembering then. Well, anyway, thanks for your help with this. I give the guy a bow. A few minutes later, near the station, I spot a sort of mall. Alright, we're back on track. Let's find Al Karawan. Now that Sasayama's not in a cat costume that warps the reality of space and time, or the fabric of space and time. 10 minutes later, physically finding Adobe Media Encoder after render my video all over again because laptop. Oh, I'm sorry, Siren. Also, Siren, I hope you're doing well. Also, hi, Siren. Also, Siren. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Al Karawan. Yes, Kano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Kano radioed in Al Karawan's location to Kuze. All units, intercept the suspect on the double, Kuze ordered. Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors. They saw Al Karawan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. McDonald's? I've never had McDonald's in the past like 5-6 years now. It's crazy. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama porting in. I've got my eyes on the mutt. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. I'm making the arrest, he said. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a street dancer's getup. It didn't appear that Al Karawan had noticed him yet. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. Not much further now. Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched, and then something unexpected happened. Another man came running into view right in the middle of the monitor. Teruo Toyama. While searching for Hana at Shibuya Jijo, he was located by a duo of debt collectors and fled the scene. Hana left Jijo to find him and ran into him here in Maru Yamacho, the pair are heading toward Koendori, trying to find a place to hide. There was no sound, but they could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Al Karawan turned to look at the man, Sasayama launched himself like a bullet from a gun. In an instant, Detective and Perp were locked in a violent scuffle right there on the street. Carlos swallowed a lump in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Earlier in the day, Al Karawan had done a number on Sasayama, but this time the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Al Karawan's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Al Karawan tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown. Then he shifted his stance and took Al Karawan to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Nice! Yes! Kano clapped his hands together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got on his handcuffs. A technique in judo involves wrapping an arm around the opponent's neck while performing an upper body pin. Stanley, we should head to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment, and when he looked back, Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend. There was something... Sasayama just got shanked. I think he's dead. I think Sasayama's dead. Oh god. Nah, he just sleeping with ketchup? Nah, don't think so. There's something jutting up from Sasayama's abdomen. Zoom in, Kano cried frantically. The camera closed in on Sasayama. Now Kano could see exactly what he feared. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. Blood pooled out on the pavement around him. Kano screamed, Sasayama! The camera showed several other detectives arriving on the scene, capturing Al Karawan before he could escape. But Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood around him spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look any longer, Kano rushed in from the surveillance room. Sasayama's actually dead. Oh shit. I haven't been hit this hard by a character death in so long. Holy crap. Dude, that guy, like, he's been with us since the beginning. Yeah, he had weird anime costumes, and, like, he was first a homeless man, then an anime fan, and then Tama for a brief second before he warped to rip the fabric of space and time, the street dancer, but I wasn't expecting him to actually die. Shit. Was listening on Osawa, I suppose. What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. Ugh, what are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret, so how did some detective from Shibuya know about it? Oh, shit. Hold on. Wait. Osawa was bewildered. I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the Oh. Oh, no, hold on. Hold on, I forgot to jump. Hold on. I have to make the proper jump. It's you. Osawa remains silent. We have to jump from this point, so that way it leads up to Osawa, like Not with the antiviral. What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret, so how did some detective from the Shibuya precinct know about it? Osawa was bewildered. I'm the one asking the question, Sir, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? I'm not sure I understand the question. I know what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply. Mr. Osawa? The detective continued after a moment. Is everything alright? Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. Osawa staggered out of the living room. He needed to be alone. To his surprise, Kachibara didn't try to stop him. Shutting his study door behind him, he dropped onto his sofa, then got out a bottle of pills. He stared at it, thinking back on what the detective had told him. I know what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's you. Detective Kano had a point. From a financial perspective, Osawa's discoveries, and indeed Osawa himself, were incredibly valuable. Immersed as he was in his research, he had never imagined he'd become a target. The kidnappers had used this artlessness to catch him completely off his guard. He thought back to the emails that A had sent him. For now, they were just stringing him along, but before long, the guilt bombs might turn into more direct threats. They would extort his money, steal his research, and finally have him killed. It was so easy to see what their plan was now. And the worst of it was, he wasn't their only target. Kidnapping Maria would only be A's first step. Osawa contemplated in horror how his family would be all victimized because of him. There was only one thing he could do. He poured a mound of sleeping pills onto his hand. Then, without any hesitation, he gulped down the whole lot. The effect on his body was slow to start, but he felt a deep and irresistible drowsiness begin to creep over him. And as his consciousness was starting to fade, he heard the distant sound of the front door chime. Moments later, the study door opened, and Kajiwara appeared inside to see Osawa lying on the floor. Mr. Osawa, are you okay? Mr. Osawa? The detective's voice was rapidly fading out. As Osawa surrendered to the irresistible urge to drift into sleep, his mouth gaped open. I think we told him the wrong thing. A has come for me. A has come for me. Those were his last words. Osawa killed himself with sleeping pills. Well, that happened. The threat of A. When he heard that he was the kidnapper's target, the stricken Osawa decided to commit suicide by overdosing on sleeping pills. This is all because of what Kano said to him. A simple error in word choice led Osawa to a completely wrong conclusion. Kano ought to properly inform Osawa just what the kidnappers are after. Yeah, we should probably inform Osawa that it's after Hitomi. Yada yada, the syndicate really after. It's Hitomi. It's Hitomi. Osawa remains silent. Mr. Osawa, is everything alright? The line went dead. Guess that answers that well enough, Kano said as he put away his phone. Oh. Now it was very clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi was carrying the antiviral, how were the criminals planning on getting it from her? Alright, cool. We're good. Back to Osawa! Let's make sure he doesn't die this time. What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret. Wait a second, real quick. Hold on, there's something I really want to check. Hold on. Let's make sure that we're on to It's You. Okay, so it's at It's You. We got a bad end. At the same time, Minorikawa goes there. Last time we saw him in handcuffs. Let's see what's going on here. Now that Osawa's passed out dead, let's see what happens. Here we go. He's probably nameplate of Osawa, Kenji Osawa. Name nagged at him. Been back in his mind ever since he's seen the phone book. Minorikawa waited, but there's no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30. Yeah. So let's continue waiting and see what happens. Just 5 more minutes. The front door flew open. Several men came rushing out and surrounded Minorikawa.
Whoa, what?
Minorikawa blurted.
What gives?
We have material witness A in custody.
Huh? Material witness A? What are you talking about? Just who do you think I am? I'm Minorikawa. Hey, come on, let me go.
Despite his protests, the men held on to him, flashing police badges. They refused to explain what was going on.
This is an unlawful arrest. All it'll take is one blurb from me and you're all fired. Do I make myself clear? Are you even listening to me? Hey, listen up. Listen to me.
But Minorikawa's voice was drowned out, lost amidst the detective's frenzied shouting. Well, that's another bad ending. Material witness A. Minorikawa got arrested without even knowing what he'd done wrong. Needless to say, he's not actually material witness A. This all happened because of something Osawa said, but he only said it because of something someone else said to him. Further along in Osawa's story, you should be able to find out who said the wrong thing. Well, that just happened. Question, what happens if you choose the other option? That would be another question.
Ah, well, I'll have to come back later.
Minorikawa decided he'd better get to his next interview. He started to head back toward the taxi. The front door flew open, and they all grabbed him. So regardless, we get the same thing either way. Bad ending. So let's tell him, don't do that. Certain kid's really after. It's Tommy. Sorry, remain silent. We're to be continued. I'm gonna go over here to the detective. We're at the same point. We're just going back and forth. What? Osawa so startled. Yeah. Oh, what are you talking about? Interval research top secrets. Had some detective. Osawa was bewildered. No one asking questions. To daughter Tommy. I'm not sure I understand the question. I know what the city kid is really after, Mr. Osawa. Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply. Mr. Osawa, the detective continued after a moment. Is everything all right? Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. Osawa staggered out of the living room. He needed to be alone. To his surprise, Kajiwara did try to stop him. Shutting his study door behind him, he dropped onto his sofa, then grabbed 3 times his normal dosage of stomach pills. There was no water in the room, so he had to swallow them dry. Detective Kano's words echoed in his mind. I know what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's Atomi. Are we about to get another bad end? There's only one reason they could be after Atomi. He broke out in a cold sweat as he began to understand what this kidnapping was really about. It had all started 6 days earlier. It was April 22nd. Osawa had just returned from the United States the day before. He was in the midst of some routine work at the General Research Lab when his cell phone rang. The LCD's display showed an enlisted caller. With some hesitation, Osawa picked up. Hello? Is this Kenji Osawa? The caller was using a voice modulator, a type of device or software used to make one's voice sound different. Changing a voice to the point of making a voice print or tone analysis if possible presents a major challenge. To be able to do so in real time requires major financial and technological resources. Osawa raised an eyebrow. Yes?
Go ahead and analyze Tommy's blood.
Her blood?
If you don't, she's going to die.
With that, the caller hung up. There was an intensity behind that made Osawa sure it wasn't just some prank call. He had Atomi come into his lab ASAP. He told Atomi he wanted a sample of her blood for an experiment. She agreed, suspecting nothing. He placed some of the blood he'd drawn onto a glass slide, then added some fluorescein and a type of fluorescent dye. Fluorescein is a yellow-green liquid, a type of fluorescent dye, chiefly used in preparing specimens for viewing under a fluorescent microscope, but it has other uses as well, such as a diagnostic reagent administered in eye exams. Its highest volume use is on St. Patrick's Day, when massive amounts of fluorescein are used to dye the Chicago River green. Oh. And a fluorescent dye is a type of dye that causes the dye substance to emit higher wavelength fluorescent light when illuminated with a certain other type of light. Such dyes can reveal fine details when used on specimens viewing through a fluorescent microscope. Interesting. Placing the slide under a fluorescence microscope, he took a look. It can't be. Osawa could hardly believe his eyes. Wiggling under the microscope was the Grim Reaper's sickle itself. There was no mistaking it. Hitomi was infected with the UA virus. Sorry, what? How did she... What? How is she not dead? It takes 12 hours before you start bleeding out of everything. Trembling, Osawa hurried to his computer. He opened the UA virus folder on his monitor. Within were images showing the stages of the virus's propagation. He double-clicked and magnified the first image. Possibly, Queen Cheese, possibly. The Rapal sickles were interlocked with one another. He clicked on the next image. After further propagation, the UA virus looked less like a sickle and more like some sort of insectoid larva. Next was the final image. Interlocked into a single mass, the UA virus vaguely resembled a sinister, many-palleted sunflower. It took merely 12 hours for the pathogen to develop to this point and began its hideous destruction of the human body. Hitomi's infection sample was still in the state shown on the first image. There was still a chance to save her. Osawa slumped back in his chair, huddling in on himself. He had no choice. There was only one way to save Hitomi. He would have to administer the nearly completed antiviral. Using the antiviral without official approval was a grievous violation of company policy. Acting against company rules or regulations, Akoshi Pharmaceutical prohibits leaking work-related information to outsiders. In the case of a major violation, not only can the violator be fired, but the company may also seek indemnities. Still, Osawa didn't have time to get the higher-ups to approve a critical trial. He might be punished severely for it, but this was his only option. His daughter's life was at stake. But there was also another, even bigger hurdle in his way. The antiviral drug was stored in the deepest recesses of the biochemical research building. A high-intensity X-ray scanner was set up at the entrance of the storage area. This made it impossible for him to take research materials out. X-ray is a type of radiation, also referred to as Roentgen rays, with a shorter wavelength than UV light, but a longer wavelength than gamma rays. Because X-rays can penetrate many objects with little absorption or scattering, they can be used to create images of internal structure. Hospitals, for example, use X-ray technology to examine the insides of patients' bodies, while security personnel use it to scan luggage at airports to search for bombs. Sounds about right. Well, if he couldn't get the antiviral out of there, he'd just have to bring Hitomi in. A course of action quickly took shape in his mind. First, he needed to slip out of the general research building. He would then head to the biochemical research facility and show his ID card to the guard at the front gate. ID card is identification card. Many facilities that carry out highly classified research assign different levels of security clearance to individual researchers, and only those with suitable clearance, as indicated by their ID cards, are admitted to restricted areas. Development of more advanced technologies, such as electronic ID tags, are replacing old barcode-type entry cards. True, Queen Cheese. Ooh, this looks cool. I like this. Okay, I like this. I can dig this style. After passing through a lobby under the watchful gaze of several security cameras, he'd reach an elevator at the end of the hall that went directly to the storage section. This elevator required an ID card to scan to operate. Yo, this is actually really cool looking, not gonna lie. Down we go. It would take about 20 seconds to get down to the first basement level and arrive at the entrance to the storage area. Finding an excuse to get Hitomi that far ought to be doable. If the security guard was getting suspicious, Osawa can say it was for a top-secret hematology experiment. And the guard would probably believe him. The problem was what came after. Hold on a second. Let's hope Hitomi will be okay. True, Queen Cheese, true. Getting into the storage area itself required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. That meant that he couldn't possibly get the antiviral without Tanaka's cooperation. Desperate with uncertainty, Osawa called up Tanaka. He frantically explained the situation. Understood, Tanaka replied. We need to get here to this drug as soon as possible. If the company finds out about this, you'll be held accountable for violation. If the company finds out about this, you'll be held accountable for violation of corporate policy along with me. Are you sure you're okay with that? What are you talking about? Hitomi's life is more important than company policy, Tanaka spoke without hesitation. Good guy, Tanaka. Even though he might be a bad guy, good guy, Tanaka. Osawa felt an immense surge of gratitude for his assistant. And I have to say, I'm deeply moved by your determination, Tanaka added. Moved? Whatever for? You really are worried about Hitomi. Osawa's gratitude faded. What are you talking about? Of course I am. My apologies. It's just that putting your career on the line for something so personal is... It's what? It's not like me? No. Well, yes. I'm sorry. Now Tanaka's voice was colored with embarrassment. Just what sort of person do you think I am? Osawa resisted the urge to ask the question out loud. But they were successfully able to give her the antiviral. A short time later, Osawa and Tanaka stood before the door to the security storage area. The security guard had let them in without the slightest suspicion. Osawa pressed his index finger to the fingerprint scanner first. Accepted. He realized he'd been holding his breath as his authorization finally went through. Half a moment later, Tanaka touched his own finger to the scanner plate. Accepted. Jeez. The lock released with an audible clang and the heavy door opened. Osawa hurried to retrieve the antiviral. As he picked up a small vial, he had a sudden realization. They were finally going to use the drug in a human test. His fatherly wish to cure Hitomi was overlaid by an intense sense of curiosity, the researcher's drive to discover his results. Hurry. I need to hurry. I need to administer the antiviral as soon as possible. Osawa could hardly fend off his excitement. Over the course of the next few hours following the injection, the UA virus would be eradicated from Hitomi's body. There had been some fever and cramping as temporary side effects, but the DDS had done a spectacular job of stomping out the virus. The drug delivery system, also known as smart drug delivery, the ability to target a specific region of the body with a specific drug, has momentous implications for the future of medicine. DDS technology is currently being tested extensively around the world. That sounds pretty cool, being just injected with a drug in one part of the body and it takes over that entire body. It's pretty cool. In saving his daughter's life, Osawa hadn't proven the value of his research. If he had been asked which made him happier, he would have been hard-pressed to give an answer. Afterwards, he asked Hitomi where she could have become infected, but she had no idea. He explained the need for secrecy, and strictly forbade her telling anyone else what had happened. Now, a week had passed since Osawa gave the drug to Hitomi. He'd been conducting checks and had discovered that the DDS had not broken down, but remained in Hitomi's bloodstream. Extracting the DDS was a simple matter, requiring just a small blood sample from around the nape of the neck. The DDS tends to linger in the nape of the neck because of the lymph nodes located there. These lymph nodes identify viruses that invade the body as a foreign substance to be attacked, but they are not always able to overcome particularly powerful pathogens. In such cases, the virus propagates rapidly inside of them. Once the patient has been treated, the antiviral will seek out the virus and accumulate there as well. Okay. The DDS itself was simply the delivery system for the antiviral drug. Residual amounts of the antiviral itself stayed behind within the cells. The materials used to create the DDS must, as a matter of course, cause minimal or no harm to the human body. Ideally, rather than accumulate inside the body, DDS substances should be either digested or absorbed or excreted. Because the antiviral must remain in the body for as long as the virus is active, however, a very careful balance must be struck between persistence and dissipation. So, how you guys feeling about science class today? Because that's what we're learning. Using the DDS, it was possible to extract those minuscule amounts from cells in a blood sample. It might take considerable time, but a sufficiently detailed analysis could allow for the antiviral drug itself to be reconstructed. Osawa felt a chill as he contemplated the situation. The kidnappers had known how tough security was at the lab, so they'd come up with the idea of using a human vessel to get what they needed from within. By infecting Hitomi with the UA virus, they ensured that she'd receive the antiviral, that she'd have it in her blood. If Tanaka was working with the kidnappers, that explained why he'd been so cooperative about the fingerprint scanner. Damn it! Osawa shouted. He clutched his head in his hands. Tanaka had been his partner and trusted confidant for years. Osawa refused to believe that he'd been betrayed like this. So Tanaka might be the bad guy after all. The front door chime sounded. Mr. Osawa, Kajirori called out, it appears you have a visitor. Could you handle that? Looks like Minorikawa! Guys, it's Minorikawa time! Here we go. He spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa, huh? The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since. Yeah, we already know this. This is not the best time, Minorikawa, but... This doesn't seem to bode well. A woman's voice came through the intercom. Who is it? It's Minorikawa. Where would I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa? Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really. I don't have time for such nonsense. Please be on your way. I'm not going anywhere until I get an interview. Interview? Who are you with? The woman's tone had changed now. Maybe Minorikawa could simply talk his way through this. This is a piece for 4-star general gossip. Ah, perfect. I've been wanting to talk to them. Was this one of the Miss Midoriyama winners? Or perhaps it was the girl's mother, eager to boast about her daughter's achievement. I'm assuming you're familiar with defamation of character, the woman said. What are you talking about? Article 230 of the Penal Code of Japan defines it as any attack against a person's reputation or societal standing. It's a very serious crime.
I know what it is, Minorikawa said. What's your point?
He had a bad feeling about this. Why discuss libel laws right before an interview? Oh, I'm not letting you get away with your telling me you've forgotten. I wonder if you'll remember once I bring up charges. Her tone was calm and level, but laced with malice.
You're talking nonsense, lady. Are you the mother? I've got business with your daughters. Put one of them on the line.
Nonsense? The woman's wrath radiated from the intercom. It's your four-star general gossip that specializes in nonsense. Her voice was so loud that it was cracking. Detective, arrest this man. He's a criminal.
Detective, huh? You don't really think I'd fall for that, do you, lady? Just who do you think I am? I'm Minorikawa.
He crossed his arms and struck a defiant pose. Hey, look, detectives. Then the front door opened and several men came trotting out. Sir, one of the men said, we'd like to ask you a few questions. And the word, sir, the man flashed his badge and Minorikawa turned around on reflex. He hadn't thought she'd actually send detectives after him. Just what the hell had Heaven Publishing done to her? Never mind, he needed to get out of here. He couldn't afford to get arrested right now. And he tripped and fell. No worries, Cassie. No worries. Nice, Fiona. Cereal. And you seen the Sonic movie? Nice. Out with it! You abducted that girl, didn't you?
Detective, you keep asking me the same question over and over. I'll keep on asking you till you tell me the...
I'll keep on asking till you tell me the truth.
Look, ask all you want, but I can't tell you what I don't know.
Now let's go back to the beginning, shall we?
Oh, cut the crap. I don't have time for your games.
As a matter of fact, you have plenty of time. I can assure you of that. The stubborn detective flashed him a grin. I can keep doing this for days if that's what it takes you to get you to confess. How did we get arrested? And so the interrogation went on for hours. In the end, once his innocence had been established, Minorikawa was finally released. He wrote a scathing indictment on his experience. The report shook up the system in a major way. But that's another story for another day. What did I do wrong? Bad end. Wrongly accused. Minorikawa was arrested for a crime he had nothing to do with. That woman had talked to must really hate four-star general gossip. Clearly had no hope of getting anywhere with her, but maybe there's someone more understanding who might answer the intercom instead. Oh! Appears you have a visitor. Could you handle that? Who could it possibly be, now of all times? You'll deal with it. Osama was in no state of mind to receive a guest. All right, with a sigh, Osama dragged himself to his feet. No worries, Fiona. Happy late Valentine's Day. Take it easy. Enjoy the movie. Enjoy the movie. Let's do this one so we can actually get the right choice. Actually, let's do you deal with it, and then we'll come back to it. You deal with it. Osama was in no state of mind to receive a guest. I can't do that, sir, Kajiwara said firmly. We can't let the kidnappers learn that there are detectives here. And then have I take care of it, Osawa told him. Kajiwara headed off. Right now, Osawa just wanted some time to think by himself. Was Tanaka really one of the kidnappers? But if he was after the antiviral, he'd had plenty of opportunity to get his hands on it when they gave it to Hitomi, hadn't he? Was that really what these people wanted, after all? The answer seemed to evade him at every turn. Unable to think of what else to do, he tried the internet fortune teller again. Of course he does. He got the same "you're a very work-minded person" result a second time. Okay. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. Interesting. My indifference to the world around me, huh? The truth was that even with his closest companions, even with Tanaka for instance, his relationship had always been strictly a matter of business. He'd never really taken it upon himself to get to know Tanaka as a person, and that was pretty much the case for everyone he knew. He harbored no interest in other people. He had no concern for his fellow man. That had made itself abundantly clear when he received a microscope as a birthday present way back in first grade. Even now, he still remembered the shock he felt when he looked through that lens for the first time. He discovered a new, almost infinite world hidden in the midst of one he'd always thought was too small. By comparison, the real world seemed bland and ugly. Whenever he looked, wherever he went, he had to contend with his tedium. It hadn't taken long for him to become more charmed by the world under his microscope than the one around him. It was like a calm, quiet little seaside. A beach where he could just sit and stare out the waves. He wanted to stay immersed in that world forever and ever. Before he knew it, he was an adult, and then a husband, and then a father. The people around him thought him an odd fellow, but he hadn't let that change the way he lived his life. And this, now, was the result. He hadn't been betrayed by Tanaka. Aw, he didn't know Tanaka well enough for that. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that, and you'll sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Aww, that's a true statement. Get to know the people around you. Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. I had tried calling him repeatedly and hadn't gotten through. It was doubtful that he'd pick up. Still, Osawa had to try. The phone rang several times, and he listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Tanaka actually picked up. Keep out. That's a new keep out screen. Well, there's nowhere else to jump, so we actually need to answer the phone, so that way Minorikawa can show up. Alright, with a sigh, Osawa dragged himself to his feet. Alright. With a sigh, Osawa dragged himself to his feet. He stumbled wearily back to the living room, where the investigators were staring at the intercom monitor with concern. The intercom's hidden camera showed a man with an unsettling grin posed intimidatingly outside the front gate. Osawa didn't recognize him. Yes, who is it? He asked guardedly through the intercom.
It's Minorikawa.
Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa?
Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there is one Minorikawa, really.
Are you playing games with me?
I don't have time for that. Please, just open up.
There's no way I'm letting you in, Osawa said, but the nonsensical badgering continued.
Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that?
An interview?
That's right. It's a piece for Forestall General Gossip.
The name of the magazine brought up an unpleasant memory. That was the gossip rag that had run the article about his political marriage. Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles?
What do you mean, those kind of articles? I'm just looking for an interview.
The man's tone was both high-handed and belligerent. Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip.
You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters.
My daughters?
I understand they won a shared prize for a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind my interview, then I'm...
Furious, Osawa cut off the intercom. This was no time to be indulging someone else's nonsense.
Hey, what gives?
The man was shouting so loud his voice carried past the gate and through the front door.
I'm begging out here on my hands and knees.
He wasn't actually on his hands and knees. Osawa could see that clearly through the intercom monitor.
If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell them I want to get in touch with them?
Mr. Osawa, Kenjutaro said, frowning. This isn't a good time to have someone drawing attention to your home. All right, I'll get rid of him. Osawa hurried out to the house, confronting Minorikawa through the front gate. The journalist had that tenacious look that immediately marked him as a member of the media. Give me your business card, Osawa said. I'll have them get in touch with you later. He took Minorikawa's card, then went right back inside. So we got two people interacting with each other! And back in his study, Osawa tossed Minorikawa's business card into the trash. But they interacted! They actually interacted with each other! Big steps are being made. And then also Kano and Osawa made contact. Unable to think of what else to do, he tried the internet fortune teller again. And we got there. And I've already seen this stuff, so. Is this actually still a keep out? It is. Okay. But now Minorikawa should be good. So I had to wait a little bit longer. I'm excited. They're actually meeting each other. Suddenly a man's voice came through the intercom. Yes, who is it? He sounded rather guarded.
It's Minorikawa.
Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa?
Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really.
Are you playing games with me?
I don't have time for that. Please, just open up.
There's no way I'm letting you in. This discussion was getting them nowhere. Minorikawa decided he'd have to take the direct approach.
Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that?
An interview? He'd taken the bait. Most folks could hardly resist the word interview.
That's right. It's a piece for Forestall General Gossip.
Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles? The man sounded angry now.
What do you mean, those kinds of articles? I'm just looking for an interview.
Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip.
You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters.
My daughters?
No parent would deny their children a chance for word of their achievements to spread. I understand they won a shared prize for a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind me interviewing them, The intercom cut out before Minorikawa could finish. Hey, what gives? I'm begging out here on my hands and knees.
He wasn't actually on his hands and knees, but whoever was on the other end can see that. Do you not see the camera, Minorikawa? If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell them I want to get in touch with them? He wasn't even using the intercom now. He was just shouting over the gate. A man stepped out into the front door. Give me your business card, he said. I'll have them get in touch with you later. Dude, look at his hair. His hair's so good. The man had a somewhat stricken look on his face. This had to be Kenji Osawa then. Wait, hold on. Osawa? Now Minorikawa recognized him. This was Kenji Osawa, the preeminent virologist who worked for Okoshi Pharmaceutical. Four-star General Gossip had run a scandalous article on him in the past, but Minorikawa remembered reading it. He held out his business card and Osawa snatched it from him. The virologist started to head back into his house. Please see that they get back to me, Mr. Osawa, Minorikawa shouted after him, and then he noticed something odd. It was the middle of the afternoon, but every window in the house had its curtains drawn. That, combined with Osawa's demeanor, set off alarm bells in Minorikawa's head. He knew he was onto something, but he couldn't linger at the Osawa residence any longer than he already had. He needed to get to that theater ASAP. He hurried back to the taxi and told Kimazuka to go. Are we back to Keep Out again? I have no idea. A few minutes later, the rear tire skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakuragoka had taken almost no time at all. Here we are, sir, Kimazuka announced. Wow, that was fast. Still, Minorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He hoped he'd still be able to get the interview with Orai. Keep Out. $5.50. So, is this where I have to jump? $4.235. That does rip the Keep Out. Okay, it does rip it out. I was a little worried there, I'm not gonna lie. Minorikawa got his wallet out of his jacket to pay the driver. Oh no, Kimazuka said, waving a hand. Don't worry about the fare. Huh? Why not? There's still plenty left over from what you paid me earlier, sir. That's what I meant by a special fare. That's right, he paid Kimazuka a whole 10,000 yen for taking him to Endo Electronics earlier. But I mean, I'm not the sort of person to keep the change, as it were, Kimazuka said. Minorikawa felt a surge of pride at those words. You're my kind of guy, Mr. Kimazuka. A man on the job can always count on Hachiro Kimazuka's taxi, the driver grinned. Now go on, go! Thank you. I have a feeling we'll meet again. Sweet. As Minorikawa entered the theater lobby, he saw a bunch of flower bouquets. Patrons gave some appreciation. Among the names of the senders were celebrities he recognized. The largest of the bouquets were sent by Koichi Nakamura of the secret society Chunsoft. I like Spike Chunsoft. The next largest came from Marutaro Ishihara from the government organization Joy Art. I feel like that's some sort of reference. Following those were those from actress Baruko Rose, popular scenario writer Ibusu Ippon Matsu, Tohoku Boosters Bus Tours Co., Ltd. Bus guide Kimiko Amo, professional baseball player Masanari Kiyo, the ventriloquist Shinshin, ukulele player Hawaii Matsuda, online TV critic Jinzo Akitsu, and so on. Evidently, the Wandering Angels were a pretty popular acting troupe. Episode 4! Novice actor Takaya Amo, despite his nervousness, gave a credible performance as Shido as the productive got underway, but as the show continued, his inexperience became apparent. He went on stage for the big wire action scene, having forgotten to attach himself to the rigging. Nozuka was quick to act, rushing on stage in the improvised role of assassin with an Endo accent number 1, and fixing a rope to Amo's back during the confusion. Okay. People were setting out pamphlets and flyers out on a nearby table. There was a palpable tension in the air. The crew seemed skittish as they went about their work. He's late, someone shouted all of a sudden. It was a man over in one of the corner of the lobby, railing angrily to nobody in particular. Why the hell hasn't that journalist showed up before the interview? Looked like he'd been waiting on Minorikawa then. What's his deal pulling this while we're this busy? Guess that's Shinosuke Orai. I've been busy I don't know why I just did that voice. I've been busy myself, Minorikawa said, keeping his composure. Trust me, I know how it goes. Huh? Who the hell are you? I'm the guy you've been waiting for, Mr. Orai. The man glared at him. It's Orai, he said. Anyway, I'm Minorikawa. Sorry to keep you waiting. Though really, a short wait is a small price to pay for the chance to be interviewed by me. Well, I hope you appreciate how valuable my time is, now that you're taking it, snapped Orai. Wow, someone sure has a high opinion of himself. Minorikawa replied. Says Minorikawa, who does this like every day. every hour at this point. He marched up to Orai.
Damn right I do. I'm Shinazuke Orai.
The theater man got right up in Minorikawa's face.
Like anyone even cares.
A jolt of tension sparked between the two men. Hey, Sparky, how's it going? Around this time, there's a similar jolt of tension between two people, Kenji Osawa and Mamoru Tanaka. We'll check that in a bit.
I beg your pardon,
a woman interrupted, but Mr. Orai does have a schedule to keep.
And who are you, Miss?
Tsukuzawa, I'm the producer.
Well, listen, Sue, I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt.
What? That's how you conduct an interview?
That's right. This is how I roll. Look, whatever.
Orai growled.
Let's just get through this already. Fine by me.
The two men sat down at opposite sides of a table in the lobby, but Tsukuzawa spoke up again. Mr. Orai, don't forget the meeting you have after this.
Yeah, I'll handle that, would you?
Minorikawa let out a derisive snort. I don't know why I'm doing these like nasally voices for them, but I guess it works.
It's like you're holding court, he said. Do people actually hang around you with that kind of attitude? You have no right to judge my acting troupe.
Maybe I'll do a different voice.
You have no right to judge my acting troupe.
There we go. Minorikawa straightened up in his chair, a mocking smile on his lips.
Oh, so it's your acting troupe, huh? He said. Why not just play all the roles yourself? Heck, you could even be your own audience.
How dare you? Orai rose to his feet and made to leave, but Tsukuzawa herded him back down into his chair. Minorikawa continued as if he hadn't heard.
Just what is it you do anyway? He asked.
Orai raised an incredulous eyebrow. You don't know?
No, why should I?
You came to an interview without knowing anything about who you were interviewing?
Yep.
Isn't that how interviews mostly go? You interview somebody to know more about them? I feel like that's normal. That's it! Get out! Orai roared and pointed angrily toward the exit. How dare an unmannered clod like you come in here and waste my time?
Hey, who's being unmannered now? I came all the way out here to hear your story, didn't I? Why don't you get out?
Minorikawa pointed at the exit as well. Why the hell should I have to leave? Orai demanded. This is my house! Theater jargon for the theater itself, especially the main auditorium.
Look! Just get out!
Yo! These two are like the exact same. Minorikawa, becoming my favorite more and more as time is going on. Meanwhile, Tsukumawa, whatever her name is, Sue, is freaking out. This time, both yelled and pointed toward the exit in unison. Tsukuzawa quickly interposed herself between them, forcing a smile. Gentlemen, please calm down, she said. Then she turned to Minorikawa. You should be aware that Mr. Orai used to be a broadcast writer. Someone who writes for television or radio programs. A great show depends not only on the actor's performances, but on the skills of the broadcast writer. Cool. He is responsible for lots of big hits.
You don't need to
mention that, Orai grumbled. Nonetheless, Tsukuzawa rattled off the names of several shows. Minorikawa did indeed recognize many of them.
He murmured. So how come you're running a failing theater now?
Failing? Orai went red in the face.
I'm not wrong, am I?
You're absolutely the rudest person I've ever met. What would a rank amateur like yourself know about theater? Orai's face was dark with rage, but Minorikawa didn't back down.
Listen, this has nothing to do with how well your theater is or isn't doing, he snapped. The television world wouldn't accept you, so in order to retain your pride as an entertainer, you started doing theater. Isn't that so?
Don't act like you know anything. I've staked my entire life on the theater. It seemed as if Orai might throw a punch at any moment. Sure, theater might seem small time compared to TV, but you get a lot more of a response from it.
Response? Oh, now that sounds interesting.
Darn right, Orai exclaimed. You can see it from up on stage. The audience, you can see their faces. There's a passion in Orai's voice now. You can really feel it. When the audience is enjoying themselves, you can feel that energy. You know, that is pretty true. Like with chat and streaming, right? I can see, like, if there's a bunch of people watching, like I said, if, like, I don't see, like, view count or anything, like, active viewing, but I see, like, look at the chat, and when chat's, like, talking and communicate, like, talking with me and talking with each other, like, you can get that feeling of enjoyment. You don't get to see their faces, but you at least get to see the response, which is nice. You can't get that from doing television. Thinking back on it now, my time spent working on TV. Well, let's see. What's a good analogy? It's like being handed a towel that's already damp. No, that's not right. Okay, so a better analogy would be, without further preamble, Arai began talking about his tribulations back in his broadcast writer days. Minorikawa smiled inwardly. This is why Minorikawa is a great fucking journalist. He rises up the emotions. Once he realizes what's going on, he hits that nerve super hard and gets his interview. The interview ended promptly after 15 minutes, the time that had been promised. Both men emerged from it as if from a daze. Minorikawa found himself staring Arai in the face, shaking him by the hand. So, what kind of story did I just get? He asked, speaking half to himself. You heard about So what kind of story did I just get? He asked, speaking half to himself. You heard about one man and his life. I have to admit, it was a good interview. Thanks, you have my gratitude. With a satisfied smile, Minorikawa closed his notebook.
Right, glad to hear that then.
Arai inclined his head, looking a bit bewildered. Flustered Tsukuzawa interrupted. Mr. Minorikawa, wasn't this interview for a piece about the performance?
Huh?
Minorikawa blinked. It's just that you were only asking about Mr. Arai, not about the performance itself, Tsukuzawa said.
Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, I came here for a piece I'm going to be writing called Where Are They Now? Washed Up Broadcast Writers Showcase.
I washed up! Arai was red in the face all over again. You bastard! How dare you! Damn it, Minorikawa! Forget everything I just told you. I do not give you my permission to use it in your magazine.
You're too late.
What?
I already heard your whole story. You should be grateful that I'll be writing a piece on it.
You bastard! With a wild look in his eyes, Arai snatched up a hammer the stage crew had left nearby. Wait, go ahead, hit me. Ouch.
Go ahead, hit me.
I'll hit you all right. Arai waved the hammer menacingly. But the attack came to a sudden halt as the ringtone startled him out of his fury.
Hold on a moment, Minorikawa said brightly. I have to take this.
He whipped out his cell phone. Hey, assailant! Please don't do this. Also, why is my door still open? What can I throw at the closed door? Hold on. True, Queen Cheese. Very, very true. But at this point, he's just like, stop the fighting. I need to take this phone call.
Hello, Minorikawa speaking.
This is Osawa. Huh? Wow, he called back a lot sooner than Minorikawa expected.
Have your daughters come home then?
No, actually, there's a favor I'd like to ask you. Why is my heart pounding?
A favor?
Minorikawa thought back to his visit to Osawa residence. The drawn curtains, the stricken look on Osawa's face. Minorikawa's instincts had sensed something significant going on. Apparently, getting the full story wasn't going to come without some cost.
A favor, huh? Is that something urgent?
I'll pay whatever I have to. I just need you to look into something as quickly as possible. His voice had the telltale desperation of a man who'd been backed into a corner.
Alright, Minorikawa said. I can help you out for a little while.
Osawa hurriedly explained what he was after. The request was a strange one. He wanted Minorikawa to look into the scandalous article that 4-star general gossip had run about him in the past.
What makes this so important?
Do I have to say?
I mean, you're asking me to look into something without explaining anything.
He eyed Arai, looking nearby with obvious irritation. Minorikawa would need to calm down the irascible broadcast writer, or else his interview really would be for naught. He decided to bluff both men at the same time.
Let me just say one thing, he said into the phone.
He made sure he spoke loud and clear so that Arai would overhear.
I want to tell the world this story. No, I need to tell it. If I don't feel that way about something, no amount of money in the world will get me to write an article on it. That's my pride as a writer at work.
Minorikawa could see Arai's aura of rage fading as he listened. The theater man looked surprised. Woo! Meanwhile, Osawa had decided to open up a bit. All right, he said. I can't share all the details, but... Nice! A 2-for-1 combo! Okay, he's in a talkative mood now. Good job, Minorikawa. See, this is going fine. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here, Osawa continued, and I mean that quite literally. I can tell you more after you're done investigating. Wait, was he serious? How could the world's balance of power hinge on looking into some alleged martial affair? It was so absurd that Minorikawa had to fight the urge to burst out laughing. A person would need to be out of his mind to believe a story like that, but Minorikawa wasn't the average person. And sometimes the truth was so ridiculous it really was stranger than fiction. Osawa wasn't lying. Minorikawa's instincts told him that much.
Alright, he said. I'll check the editing department's notes from back then.
Minorikawa felt his excitement building. Things were really getting interesting. For the moment, he nearly forgot Toyama and his troubles. Hey, welcome back, Happy. To be continued? To be continued? Nope. When he ended the call, Arai approached him and extended his hand. Listen, your methods might be a little extreme, but I can tell you take pride in your work.
Of course I do.
I'm sorry for getting so worked up. I bet you'd write a fine article about me, so please, Mr. Minorikawa, let the world know about me and my half-lived life. Minorikawa took the offered hand and shook it.
Leave it to me. Once I'm done with it, you won't just be some washed-up nobody anymore, Mr. Arai.
It's Arai.
Minorikawa grinned.
Minorikawa rushed out of the theater. He completed all the interviews that he could get done before 4 o'clock. He had an hour left to write it all up to convince the folks from the loan company that gossip could stay afloat. He let out a roar, psyching himself up for the final push. To be continued? Yeah! Let's go! This is a good... Okay, Minorikawa's almost done with his articles. He's super close. So now we just need to jump into Kenji Osawa. We finished Kenji's story. So what's going on between Tanaka and Osawa? Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Osawa felt a surge of outrage. He wanted to scream, but he took a deep breath and managed to maintain control. Tanaka, where are you? Is Maria alright? Tanaka did not reply. The police told me. They said you were connected to the kidnapping. A soft chuckle came from the other end of the line. Ah, well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs. Tanaka's tone was unapologetic. He is part of the kidnapping! He sounded nothing like the man Osawa thought he knew so well. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money troubles? Money? Tanaka replied. I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you understand. Do you have any idea what it's been like for me, doing our research together? You're always the one who takes center stage. The fruits of our success are all yours, even though you couldn't have done any of it without me. The more he said, the more vitriol seethed into his words. Osawa's hand trembled as he clutched the phone. The taker can never understand how it feels to be taken from. You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. With that, he hung up. Hey, Tanaka! Tanaka is the kidnapper. Osawa dialed the number again, but Tanaka didn't pick up. Osawa racked his brain, thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual, any clue at all, no matter how small? If he could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find her Maria and Hitomi. That was it! I had been suspicious of Tanaka all along, so much so that she planted a bug on him hidden in a tie clip. Her suspicions might have been pretty strong. Wait, Osawa recalled what Kajiwara had said. But still, if she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift is a bit... The words had struck Osawa as odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tie clip. His heart gave a heavy throb in his chest. It couldn't be. No, it was impossible. The article from 4-Star Jungle Gossip crept back into his mind. The article had talked about a man I had dated before she married Osawa. The man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka? You hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. Tanaka and I feel like it was hinted at, but... oh, goodness. Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. Osawa felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all this? No, wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? What could it mean? It was no use. Osawa couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish what the relationship between I and Tanaka really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. But obviously he couldn't just go and ask I directly. If she really were involved in all this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Yeah, Minorikawa! Osawa thought back to the business card he tossed into the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from the scavenging hyena, but now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do some investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minoru Minorikawa. He was Osawa's only hope. Let's go! To be continued! Oh my gosh! Alright, let's see what's happening next hour. We finished the 1400 hour. Let's see what's going on. I'm so nervous. I don't know what to expect. Oh my gosh, all the little hints that it said. Oh my gosh, everything that it was hinting at. The mastermind. That was gonna be amazing. I know, to the scene of Sasayama's stabbing. Forgot to mention, thinking about the case, the man with the cane. So Osawa's story is short, and so is Kano's, it looks like. Everyone else's starts at 1500, but Osawa's doesn't start till 1530. Am I really late? Yeah, we just finished 1400. However, I'm going to go back and do all the options I didn't choose so we can get all the bad endings. So let's check all of the stuff that we missed. Fleeing foreigner. But Bob, I hope you're doing well today. Stanley Kano shouted, "Get the case!" Stanley headed for the attaché case, so Kano went after the suspect. Suddenly, the fleeing man skidded to a stop. We've seen this before. I'm just making sure that we can get to the 1500 hour with nothing going crazy. Okay. I'm also just checking Kano's stuff, and if I miss anything, then, like I said, we'll go back. Denounced as bogus. Okay, just calm down. Minorikawa did his best to swallow his pride. Okay, just calm down. Minorikawa did his best to swallow his pride. Whatever, he huffed. I don't have time for this anyway. He stalked back to his seat. The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl. Okay, pretty straightforward. Nothing pretty crazy. Okay. Minorikawa, we already checked that. Alright, brandishes the hammer. Nope, I chose wrong. I may have spammed the A button. Got carried away playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. No worries, we should be playing that tonight. Hopefully.
Wait! Shut up!
Shut up, alright, we're the hammer. The attack came to a sudden halt.
Ouch!
I haven't even hit you yet. Alright, wave the hammer menacingly. He just yells ouch without even being hit by a hammer. GG. So far, so good. Let's see what's going on here. Visitor arrives. A development in the case. Where'd Tanaka go? Let's see what's going on. Where was Mr. Tanaka headed? Kajiwara asked. He eyed Osawa keenly. I don't actually know. Even leaving out the part about Hitomi, that was still the truth. If Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, Osawa knew he ought to tell the police about the blue minivan and the emails from his daughter. But part of him still trusted Tanaka deep down, and he couldn't bring himself to reveal it all. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. Sorry, when did that repeat? That just repeated twice, okay. On the far side of the room, I was squawking in frustration. Despite several attempts, she hadn't been able to get through to Tanaka. Alright, we've already seen that. Tanaka's listening device. Who's he emailing? So, I don't think it's going to be too much here. Who was Tanaka emailing? You need to think of a lie, fast. It was me! Kajiwara and I both looked at him in surprise. We were just discussing my work, Osawa continued. There's nothing odd about that. No, Kajiwara said. It is odd. Why would you need to go to such lengths for that? You're both here. Because you never leave me alone. No worries, Baba. Take it easy. Have a good day. There's confidential information I didn't want overheard. Well, but Kajiwara seemed inclined to press the point. Look, the point is, there's no reason to worry about Tanaka's emails. Oh, yeah. Now, I assume we're done here. I need Tanaka to run some errands for me. Osawa opened the front door, hoping that would put a lid on the discussion. Tanaka gave him a quick bow and headed out the door. Alright, good. Who's he emailing? Let's see who he's emailing now. It was someone from work. But sir, Kajiwara was quick to butt in. Don't you have a computer in your study? Couldn't you have just sent the emails yourself? The detective had to choose now, of all times, to actually be perceptive. I do, but my computer was having problems sending email. I'm not sure what the issue was. Look, the point is, there's no reason to worry about Tanaka's emails. There just isn't, I'm telling you. It was a lame excuse, but he had to just keep pressing it. Anyway, I think we can say we're done here, Osawa said. He opened the front door. Now, if you don't mind, I've asked Tanaka to run some errands for me. Pretty straightforward. Tanaka gave him a quick bow and headed out. Hey, wait. So we did run into Tanaka, and Tanaka did try to... Man, there's just a lot going on. See what's going on with the debt collectors. Oh, this is not good. This is not good, Mr. Yanagashita whimpers. Getting involved with these thugs strikes me as a bad idea. Pretend not to know Mr. Yanagashita and run off. Getting involved with those thugs strikes me as a bad idea. Pretend not to know Mr. Yanagashita and run off. Ah, Tama! Wait up, please! I can still him calm pathetically as I scurry away. I didn't get to mention the transparent scratch cards, but that may be for the best. Okay, interesting. The guy really ought to develop a proper work ethic. Let's see what happens now. So we didn't spend extra time with Yanagashita with them. So now we're here. Okay, so it's still a good thing. We just, you know, run away. Some new pickup truck. Let's see what we got. A pickup truck. When I look back, though, I see that he's still following me. What do I do? For now, maybe we should do another. Maybe we should hide someplace where there are fewer people. Maybe we should hide someplace where there are few people. I scurry for one of the far corners of the store. Compared to the area around the stairs, the rest of this level is deserted. I head up to the top, to the 4th floor. Oh, Tanaka's gonna be there. We're gonna die. There's Tanaka. When I get to the top of the stairs, I see a man talking on his phone. He looks a little furtive, like he's trying to avoid the public eye. Ah, well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs. He's talking to Osawa. This is Tanaka talking to Osawa. What I can hear of the conversation makes me pretty uneasy. I turn on my heel and get the heck out of there. Interesting. No, why no? Well, she's still alive, so... Interesting that it goes somewhere else. You miss Baba? Oh, it's all good. Hello! To be continued! Distant Hitomi. So something happens with Achi. Achi took the escalator down to the 3rd floor, and there was Hitomi standing right there, in there after he'd been searching for high and low. A.K.A. Maria. There you are. I thought we were going to meet on the 2nd floor, Achi said. She stared back at him in confusion. Well, anyway, come on. We have to get to hide. Hide? Why? She gave him a dubious look. Achi felt like something was off, but now wasn't the time to dwell on it. Because those guys might have found us, he said. They're outside. He took hold of Hitomi's hand. Hey, let go. What gives? She quickly yanked her hand away. Huh? As Achi tried to make sense of the way she was acting, she took off down the corridor. Hey, Hitomi! He hurried after her. It was like changing her clothes had also changed her personality. Still, he couldn't just leave her alone. The kidnappers might be closing in. He stayed in pursuit of her, trying not to draw too much attention. He headed in the direction Hitomi had gone and came to a stairwell. What the hell is going on? Had she gone up or down? Achi frowned in consternation. Hey, stop it right there! He heard shouting coming from down below. Then came the sound of footsteps rushing up the stairs. Hitomi? Was someone chasing her? Achi bolted down the stairs before he could mull over it too much. Down the landing, he ran into a man who was pale in the face. You gotta help me. The man went and cowered behind Achi. 2 thuggish-looking men came up the stairs after him. Hand him over, kid. Yeah, don't make us do nothing we'll both regret. 2 guys bullying some frail old man? Achi huffed. And you want me to just turn a blind eye while this goes down? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. The younger fellow, the one who looked like a small-time gangster, sneered. Oh, you're gonna want to turn a blind eye to this, little man. This is gonna get bloody. By the way, Achi asked, either of you see a girl around here? Super cute, but yay to... Huh. The gangster suddenly threw a jab with his right fist, and Achi dodged on reflex, but Toyama, not so lucky. The punch wound up catching the man hiding behind him right in the face instead. Oh, whoops. Achi realized his mistake a moment too late. The man splayed out into the floor. Whoa, my bad, Gramps. You okay? Achi hunkered down and slapped the man in the face. Hey, come on, stay with me. It's no use. I'm done for. Please, look after Hana. Minorikawa. The man's muttering was all but incomprehensible. Hey, Achi said, this guy seriously needs to go to a hospital. He's in big trouble. You guys go call an ambulance. He needs... Oh, shit. When Achi looked back, the man in the sunglasses was standing over him holding a fire extinguisher. Why wait for an ambulance when the fire department's already here? The butt of the fire extinguisher came right down onto Achi's face. But I didn't call for the fire department. Some famous last words. Famous last words. Bad end. I didn't call for the fire department. While chasing after Hitomi, Achi had a run-in with some Yakuza and got beaten up. But actually, the girl Achi was following was an Hitomi. In order for Achi to avoid this disastrous fate, the girl needs to run off in a different direction. And that's all the bad ends. Well, cool. I just got the achievement for all of the bad ends, so... That's it. Wow, we were only missing one bad end. That's interesting. So we actually got all of them just naturally, for the most part. Head to the other floor. Yo, we did pretty good this round, this hour. Where's Yanagashita? There he is. Have to see that glorious face. Oh, what to say to Hana. See what we say to Hana. I'm just choosing all the different options so that way I can see all the scenes. So I decided to say something else. I guess I just get bored being all by myself. I like being alone. Hana looked away from me. Still, I'm sure your father must be missing you right now. He doesn't care what happens to me. Aw, her words trigger a sudden intense tightness in my chest. What is this feeling? Poor Hana. Am I get to the security office? Yeah, we've already seen this. Okay. And we good. Hitomi captured, caught up with the Yakuza. Just choosing all the options, and then we'll be good. I've heard all sorts of rumors about you, you know? Let's see how true they are. Achi didn't like his chances in a straight-up fight with a trained boxer. What should he do? He had to apologize. Look, please, I'm sorry, Achi begged. He bowed his head good and low. He'd koto as much as he had to in order to get out of this. Please, just let this slide for now. After we're done with this, I'll do whatever you want. After what? Ain't no after for you two. The punk took a step in closer. Uh-oh. Words weren't going to work on these guys. And suddenly the elevator doors opened before them. A miserable-looking older man stood in the elevator. Well, Toyama's about to get punched in the face again. At least he keeps escaping, which is good. For all sorts of rumors. Alright, let's run for it. He had to run. He reached behind himself and grabbed Hitomi by the arm. Keeping his eyes fixed on his opponent, he took a careful step back. Running away, huh, coward? The punk was quick to close the gap Achi had just made. Achi didn't care if he was a coward or not. All he cared about was making sure Hitomi was safe. Suddenly, the elevator doors opened before them. And Toyama. Toyama has, like, the worst luck. Wrong place, wrong time, all the time. Or by Hitomi, Shibuya Jijo, Tama's boyfriend. Bashful grin spread across Achi's face. I guess. No, he's not my boyfriend. Hitomi denied it before the words were out of Achi's mouth. He felt a little pang of heartbreak. So did Queen Cheese. What? So you're not a boyfriend? The guy flashed a broad grin. Hey, listen, you creep. Who the hell are you? Oh, me? The man's face suddenly blanched. Tama's boyfriend. Achi didn't want to give the wrong impression. No, it's nothing like that. No, it's nothing like that, Hitomi said. Achi was going to be upfront about it, but she beat him to the punch. Somehow that kind of stung a little. What? So you're not a boyfriend? The guy flashed a broad grin. Hey, listen, you creep. Who the hell are you? Oh, me? And yeah. Cool. That should be everything, right? Oh, no, we have a lot of stuff. We have 4 more options here. And then we'll be done. Achi's mind wanderers listen. Just what kind of person was Hitomi's sister? Just what kind of person was Hitomi's sister? If she had a friend like Kanon, maybe that meant she was a skilled martial artist as well, which is true. Still, someone would need to be a fully trained fighter to be able to hold their own against someone like Kanon. He imagined biceps bulging like tiny mountains, legs shaped in a perfect inverted triangle, quads that looked like they belonged on a horse. She might cut a slender figure, but she needed that sort of musculature in order to stand a chance against Kanon. Hachi then had an abrupt realization amidst his wonderings. Hitomi and Maria were twins. Did that mean that underneath their clothes, Hitomi was also super ripped? Two things. One, Hitomi with six-pack abs. Two, does anyone notice that there is a boy that's stroking his ice cream cone in the top right corner of the screen? Like, definitely looks like he's having a good time with the ice cream cone. Well then, let's well, we're gonna be on the screen for a while, so get used to Ice Cream Boy. I actually tried to imagine a hard-ass steel figure beneath that adorable face. The weird juxtaposition made him shudder. No, Hitomi, you and your sister are each your own person, Achi said. Achi's driving the image of macho Hitomi from his mind. Professor Palmer said the same thing. Alright. We talked about her sister. More Ice Cream Boy. He just wanted to sit there and listen to her voice. Her voice was sweeter than any parfait could be. Achi had never been a big fan of sweets, but he wanted as much helpings of Hitomi's voice as he could get. A term used to refer to candies, snacks, or desserts that are flavored to be, well, sweet. You'll see people on cooking shows try fancy sweets or raving about how they taste using every word but sweet, which you would think couldn't have defeats the whole point, but whatever. No matter how trivial, if she said it, he wanted to hear it. But Hitomi was quiet and hung her head. Broken from his reverie, Achi spoke up again. What's the point of comparing yourself to your sister? You're your own person, Hitomi. Professor Palmer said the same thing. Alright, there's that. Miss Midoriyama. Achi turned to the couple. Hey, did you just say she's Miss Midoriyama? Is what we're gonna choose. Achi turned to the couple. Hey, did you just say she's Miss Midoriyama? The couple stared at him in surprise, but Achi was undeterred. What you were saying just now, is that true? The man's face was twisted up in embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, girl you're with, she won a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy, no? I just got a little excited is all.
Achi turned back to Hitomi. Is that so? He asked, peering intently at her face. Well, yes. She smiled awkwardly. He turned to the young man again. I knew she was pretty darn cute, he said. Guess I'm not the only one. Nodding in understanding, he sat back down. Miss Midoriyama, well, I'll be. The two students, unnerved by Achi's questions, quickly got up and scurried away. Alright, let's see. Miss Midoriyama. Last option. Achi said nothing, but he kept his ears turned to the couple's conversation. You sure that's her? Yeah, it totally is. No, it isn't. Is that Maria Osawa? Oh, maybe? Either way, she's super cute. Hey now, Masa, what gives? A first-year student at Midoriyama Academy who works part-time for Dogen Hut, a noodle shop in Dogenzaka. He's just back from suffering in the restroom, his stomach rather upset from eating too much parfait. While doing his business there, he happened to spot a magazine on the wall rack. Flipping through nonchalantly, he came across a potential 100,000 yen scratch card inside. Seeing that it had been scratched off, he considered trying for the prize, but then, deciding that it was no time to press his luck, left the restroom without scratching it. Interesting. Achi turned back to Hitomi. Is that true? He asked, peering intently at her face. Well, yeah. She nodded with an awkward smile. Well, I mean, you are really cute and all, Achi said. Mr. Midoriyama, well, I'll be. He nodded to himself as he took it all in. Perfect. Alright, that should be everything. Yep, that's everything. We are all set for the 1500 hour. You're just gonna go now? Well, we're at the end, Cassie, so makes sense. But no worries, have a wonderful day, Cassie. So, next time when we play this game, which hopefully is going to be sooner rather than later, it seems like this 1500 hour might be really, really short. Possibly. I'm gonna try to keep it to like maybe a Tuesday. Like Queen Cheese, if that works for you, because I know you and Baba really like the game. If Tuesday works for you guys, I probably might do it then. We'll see. I'll have to plan the schedule out tomorrow. But we have Sasayama, who's dead and stabbed. He's dead, unfortunately. So rest in peace, Sasayama. Damn. Minorikawa is trying to get to investigate for Osawa. So now these two are connected. Kano and Osawa are now connected. And then Maria and Hitomi, or Maria and Achi are connected too, technically. But we also have, we have Osawa who's thinking about the case. And it seems like something's going to be going on regarding them discovering that Hitomi's has the antiviral. No worries, Kuchis. There's the man with the cane who's the assassin who's trying to kill Maria, which, that's crazy. And then you have Cannon who knows who the mastermind is. Gosh, there's crazy stuff happening. But we have all the bad endings so far, so Wednesday would be better. If I'm awake on Wednesday, then yeah, head out now. Bye! Happy, take it easy. Yeah, we're gonna be ending off in a moment. But let's look at all the bad endings we have so far. So we have So Long Shibuya, Lost Sighted Kidnapper, Was That a Crow? Shot by a Foreigner. The Least You Could Do. We get married! Back to the Precinct. I thought they were dead. Questioning Al Karawan, and Cats. Actually, there was only one bad ending for Kano. Interesting. For Achi, we have Arrested. Trust with a Stranger. Your Future is Garbage. Beaten up by the Man with the Cane. Lost Sight of the Van. The Cockroach. Attacked by a Man with a Cane. What's up with the cat? I didn't call for the fire department, so 1 for Achi. Okay, so 2. Shifts over. Demo postponed for Maria. Anagotchi. South American business trip. Fled the country. Rochambeaued. And a mysterious man. Tanaka wants to try to kill Maria. Interesting. So that's 111. You got Minorikawa, just 5 minutes. Feeling the burn. Sumo belly flop. Sniffing for a scoop. Jackie calls it quits. Axed. Rampage. Material witness A. And wrongly accused. So we have 2 from Minorikawa. So that was only 5. Really? Osawa. Worst case scenario. Escape from reality. Eye goes overboard. Brain freeze. Guilty conscience. The threat of A. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. There's only 8. That seems so short. But so far Osawa has the least bad endings. Kano has the most, followed by Achi, Minorikawa, then Maria. But the fact that Tanaka is trying to kill Maria and Hitomi, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Well, Queen Cheese, feel free to message me on Discord if you figure out a good time, because I know you definitely want to be here to see it, and I know Baba wants to as well, and I think your guys' schedules do line up to an extent. As far as what we have going on next. Ooh. Stalker for wanting to ruin my OTP? True. Okay. Hey, Justin, we just got to the end. So, we're gonna be wrapping up the stream. But let me tell you guys what we have going on. As far as the next stream, we're gonna be doing Monster Prom. And I don't know what time that's gonna be at. Reason being is because I have an entire huge spreadsheet that I have to finish before I have to finish that spreadsheet before I can play Monster Prom again, and I want to get to it by 3 o'clock, so I'm hoping that running for an hour would be able to do it. But we're going to be doing some single-player runs. We're going to do probably 2 single-player runs of the game just to go through it. We're going to be doing like the full long games. I'm doing a spreadsheet though, so that way I can like kind of keep up with it. So that's gonna be fun. And 10 past 5 on any day would be good. I mean, we stream at 6 Mountain Standard Time, so that is gonna be 8 until once March hits. March does some weird stuff. So yeah, next will be Monster Prom. Monster Prom will be happening. Give it about an hour, 15 minutes. And I do need to let you guys know. Hold on. I'm going to give you guys confirmation here in a moment. Yeah, I don't have any confirmation for you. Damn. All right. It's odd for you as well. Well, daylight savings time, so then we go back to Pacific Standard Time here in Arizona. It's really weird. So here's the gist. I may be part of a collab today. Yeah, I more than likely will be part of a collab today. With a Squidman. We're gonna be doing some league battles. If that does happen, because he hasn't really gotten back to me, he messaged me about it late last night, so I haven't responded till this morning. If we do the collab, we will only be doing Fire Emblem 3 Houses afterwards tonight, and we'll be wrapping up the rest of the Cindered Shadows. We'll be streaming that until we beat the Cindered Shadows DLC. If Splatoon runs long, though, then we will be doing Dead by Daylight instead, and then tomorrow we'll be finishing Fire Emblem 3 Houses, the Cindered Shadows. It just depends on how long it is. I don't think it will be too terribly long. I think we're just doing league battles and some private battles, but I'll be staying there for as much as I can. But it'll depend on the time, because I know, hey Richard, how's it going? You just got to the end of the stream because we're about to wrap up, unfortunately. But I'll be back in about an hour or so. I got a spreadsheet I gotta finish. I got some lunch to eat, so on and so forth. So, with that being said, I do thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this hour of 428 Shibuya Scramble, and have a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, and or evening. My name's Katathi. I'll see you guys next time for more Friday Gaming. See you guys later. Peace. Bye, everyone.